Hello Fusion friends, Brian from Steeda, and today we're going to talk about the rear sway bar for 2013 to 2020 Fusions, as well as the 17 to 19 Fusion Sport. We love the Fusion and the Fusion Sport. Phenomenal touring cars, sporting sedans, whatever it is you want to call them. And we know that there's so many fans out there of the vehicle. And inherent to any front wheel drive or all wheel drive vehicle is understeer. Understeer is when the front of the car wants to push out. Think of driving on ice and snow. For those of you in the South, think of it driving through the rain too quick. You turn the steering wheel and the car pushes out. Think of it as washing out, if you will. It's understeering. And even though you turn the steering wheel more, it doesn't help. It just keeps wanting to push. And this is really noticeable on sharp corners as well as autocross courses. Let's hope that you're on a closed course, or even better, track days and road course circuits. So to relieve that or alleviate that issue, you ultimately can go to the larger rear sway bar. So I'm sure you're asking yourself, why did Ford put such a tiny rear sway bar on the car? The reality is that so many enthusiasts out there, well, let me back up a little bit, so many customers out there buying these cars really like the sporting aspect of it, but don't necessarily feel like pushing it. We know that you, our customers, think differently, and this is why we're here talking about it. The Steeda rear sway bar for the Ford Fusion is 25 millimeters or 1 inch solid steel. This thing is heavy, so you'll probably want a second hand helping you when you go to put this thing up under the car. So let's talk about this a little bit more. Why is having a large rear sway bar, especially a stiff rear sway bar, so important? This is a great time for you to tell us, if you've done this already, exactly why. Those of you watching this for the first time or that are interested in this, don't peek at the comments just yet. Save that a little bit later. And I will encourage you, if you like this video, to click like and share it with other enthusiasts. All right, back on topic. The rear sway bar helps reduce roll. The whole point here is as the car is going through a corner, it rolls onto the outside springs. The springs compress, and that's what creates what we call body roll. Now, a little bit of compliance and a little bit of roll is good because that's what's going to absorb any bumps and changes in the surface of the road. You don't want the thing to be overly stiff and harsh because, after all, it is a car that you want to enjoy on road trips, driving to and from the circuit. You're getting the idea here, dual purpose car, if you will. And the beauty behind sway bars is they only work when the car is in roll, when it's leaning on one side or the other. So when you're driving down the highway, commuting to work, whatever it might be, you won't even notice that you've put a larger, stiffer rear sway bar on. But when you get to the corners, oh man, you will notice a huge improvement and a huge difference in the balance of the car. So let's talk about that a little bit more. Just like the front sway bar, the rear sway bar connects to both points on the back of the suspension. The way it's connected is through end links. So you'll see that we offer, of course, adjustable end links, or you can reuse the factory end links, but those end links then connect to your suspension. And as one side of the suspension compresses, it actually will pull up on the other side. So effectively, as this side compresses, it's trying to pull up against this spring that inherently adds spring tension or load to this side. And that's what helps reduce body roll. That's why you sometimes hear sway bars termed as anti-roll bars or stabilizer bars, or again, Dario's favorite, stay bars. The improvement to the balance of the car is going to be very noticeable. You'll be able to manipulate the handling and the bias between oversteer and understeer by simply using the throttle. And we do encourage you to be careful when you first install this. Not that it's going to be dangerous, but if you lift out of the throttle completely, it's not uncommon to actually have to catch the back of the car a little bit, almost like a rear-wheel drive car. And it's something that sometimes is difficult to do in a front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive vehicle because of that tendency to push. Well, this is why we're talking about the importance of this rear sway bar. Keep in mind that with that anti-roll aspect in the back of the car, you're going to keep a better contact patch on the outside rear tire because it's not going to camber in as far because you've effectively increased the spring rate. The other thing to keep in mind is roll coupling. This is the relationship from the rear of the car to the front of the car. And you don't want to necessarily overload that outside front tire. So in higher speed corners, the front sway bar may be applicable to you. If you're going to a really fast local road course, you may want to consider pairing this with that front sway bar. For our guys that are autocrossing and canyon carving through sharper corners, lower speeds, we'll probably just start with the rear bar. And again, if you need to dial out some of the oversteer because of the tire and wheel setup that you're running, whatever it might be, then maybe add that front bar as well. The Steeda Rear SwayBar is a direct bolt-on for 2013 through 2020 Fusions that are front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, as well as the 2017 through 2019 Fusion Sport. As noted a moment ago, the Steeda Fusion Rear SwayBar is constructed of solid steel, and to maintain that strength all the way through, we've also added in billet steel ends that are welded 360 degrees around that tube to ensure, well, strength. And that's such a critical point because that's where the end-link pickups are that go to your suspension, as we talked about as far as reducing roll. You get the idea, you know where we're going with this. We back this with our lifetime warranty as well. And we proudly manufacture this in the USA at our Valdosta, Georgia facility. We provide all of the pieces needed for installation, including the rear SwayBar brackets and high-performance bushings. These will give you, again, better responsiveness out of the back of the car because, well, they don't deflect like a normal rubber bushing would. If you're looking for a great way to add some fun to your Fusion, whether it's driving it every day to work or to the local racetrack, the rear SwayBar is it. To see the latest and greatest things that we're up to with our Fusion and other Ford vehicles, definitely check us out on social media. To learn more about this and many of the other great parts we offer for the Fusion and other Ford vehicles, visit Steeda.com. Thank you so much for watching. Steeda, speed matters.